Can you hear me well, by the way? Cool, because I plugged in my microphone. All right, I think we're live, but there's only one way to write us some comments, say hello, tune in, and we'll give it a start in about 3 to 5 minutes. So you still have time to grab everything you want. I'm already hearing my YouTube in the back. Yeah, perfect. There we go. I hear another stuff in the background. Let me find out which one it is. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, that's the one. Perfect. We live on YouTube. Let me check.
Let's
Um,
go.
yeah, perfect. Okay.
It's a little choppy on my end. Like I can't fully hear you and see you.
Okay. Let me try to fix that as well. Let me try to fix this as well. There you go. Is it a bit better now?
Yeah,
Okay.
kinda.
There's a little bit of latency on your side, but we'll manage. Cool. Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to podcast with Mr. D. If you just tuned in, say that, give us a little comment. Let us know where you're located. We're super interested in
What up?
knowing that. There we go. There we go. Check this out. We have the first comment of the session. Welcome, even. Boom.
What's going on, Evan?
There you go. People tuning in. We'll give it a start in about 2 minutes. So you still have to seat, grab something to drink, and we'll get started. There we go. Okay, everything is running. Okay, we've live on X as well.
You think it's better to join from Chrome than Safari for me? Because it's like it is kind of choppy. Like I see you, but then every now and then it just freezes.
Okay, yeah, you can give it a try. You can give it a try, but I think it's good. I think the what could be the problem is that your resolution is maybe too high, so it's killing your bandwidth.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, let's see.
yeah, so go into the video settings and and see if you can lower your video quality.
I don't think it doesn't give me any options for that.
Okay. If the settings, you go to camera, and then in camera you can select the resolution of.
Mine doesn't have that.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Okay, strange.
hmm.
Strange.
It's all good.
Okay.
Let's try it. Let's see.
Yeah, let's just give it a try like that. Boom, share a quick message on X, and we'll get started. There we go. Okay. Again, welcome everyone. We're going to start. This is not a recording, it's a live session. So whatever you see, we'll hear it. If you want to join, if you want to interact with me or our amazing guest, use the comments down below. Let's get started. So first thing, thank you so much for thank you so much for being here today with me. But a lot of people don't know who you are. So who are you? Giving us that little introduction.
Yeah. So my name is Dee Green, founder of this brand Undeterred. Been an entrepreneur, say since like 2016. Really in college, I started my first online business. But I guess the short of it is like right now I run a free community, a school community for entrepreneurs, just to give them a place to connect with other people to get support. And yeah, that's basically like the main thing we're doing right now.
Excellent. I love this. So here's the thing. When I designed the banner, I got immediate feedback from people saying, "Oh my God, Riley, you put another Eiffel towers everywhere." And so I started laughing when I said, no, 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 this time I have a legit reason for doing so. And so if you can sort of give us a little bit of the background story of why I've put the Eiffel Tower on the banner for today's podcast.
I mean, I would assume that is well. The picture that I sent you had it in there originally. I don't know if that's the if that's the reason why.
Exactly. That's one of the reasons. And so would you mind sharing the story behind it?
Bro, it cuts out so much. Like I don't even get the full question that you're asking.
Okay, sorry. I said, so what's the story of the picture?
Okay. So that picture was, I believe that picture was a little bit after I created the Undeterred brand. I think that was 2019 actually, and me and my wife went back there for like our first year wedding anniversary. But to go back a little bit, basically 2018, me and my girlfriend at the time, we went to the Bahamas. It was my first cruise, really my first time outside the country. And I was like, man, I really want to experience this more. I want to be able to make traveling, part of my lifestyle. I want to just be able to do this like full time and just to do this more. So when I came back home, I was like, man, I need like, let's go on some more trips. So I started, my friend told me like, yo, bro, look on Groupon, look on these other sites. Like traveling doesn't have to be as expensive as people think that it is. So as I was looking, I was like, okay, dang, it's not actually as expensive as I was thinking. And so I was like looking at all these places, and then Paris came up. I was like, damn, it'd be so dope to like take my girl to Paris. And I was like, oh, if I'm gonna go, like, let's propose, or I want to propose. So I remember telling like family, friends about it, and pretty much the vibe was like, bro, why are you trying to do something so fancy? Like, just go to a local restaurant, go to Miami. Like, you don't have to do all this. And I was like, man, a lot of the people that I know is like they don't really know what it feels like to achieve like a dream that they have. They always do like the safe route. When things get hard, they give up. And if I listen to them, I'm going to spend the rest of my life like that, and I don't want to do that. So I bought a notebook, and I was like, I'm going to just like go for this, and I want to document my journey. And the only promise that I have is that I'm never going to give up. And bro, it was like so hard. Like I didn't really have any money. I wasn't making a lot of money from like the job, my business. My wife didn't even have a passport when I came up with the idea. I didn't have a ring, and I only gave myself like 70 days basically. And like the guy, like right when I was about to get the ring, like I think his mom died. He had to go to like Brazil, so I'm like waiting on that. I got like an eviction letter because I wasn't even paying my rent. I was just putting all the money into like trying to make this happen. And bro, it just felt like it was going to be like impossible. It was never going to happen. And like the couple days or a week, I don't remember the exact time, like before we left, like I ended up getting like money in the mail from like the IRS. They messed up all my taxes. Like all this stuff started happening. And we ended up going out to Paris. I ended up proposing like right in front of the Eiffel Tower. And that's like the first time that I realized like what it means to be undeterred, where I was like, bro, if I just refuse to give up on a dream that I have, I can achieve it. And so that's like why Paris is like such a big, like has like a such a, I guess like a big connection for me, because that's like what my brand started basically there. That's like the first place that I learned like what it means to be undeterred and like how to do it.
So are you saying that Undeterred has a subtitle with Made in Paris?
Basically, yeah, essentially, yeah.
You hear that, guys? I love it. I love the story. And what I love about the story is that when you think about it, it's a perfect example of a typical entrepreneurial story. But it was a personal story, not a business story. But you've
Yeah.
gone through the same problems and the same challenges that they faced.
Say that one. Was there a question at the end? Because so it cut off.
No, no, there was not a question. I want to make sure that you got this first message. And so now my question is, why is it that people don't realize that entrepreneurship and building a business is not that different from living your life?
Right.
Why do you think people are not connecting the dots?
Between the difference between being an entrepreneur and life.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. I think I think it kind of stems between the why. I think a lot of people maybe this doesn't answer the question, but I think a lot of people are just focused on like money when it comes to business. And it's like, but for what though? Like, yeah, you want to make K a month, you want to make six figures, you want to be a millionaire for what? Like, I know so many people are like, well, I just want to spend more time with my kids. It's like, bro, that doesn't cost $200,000 a month. Like, you're just saying that so you can go flex on Instagram or do a post about it and look cool. But now you're putting all this stress and pressure on yourself trying to do something that doesn't require like all that work. So I think when you set goals in life, it's something that you actually want to do. Like, I actually wanted to propose in Paris, not just like doing it for the sake of doing it. And so I think when you tie that into business, it's not that they're similar, it's like they're the same. It's like I'm doing this in my business so that I can do something in my personal life. And so you have to be able to navigate personal and business in order to do both.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. No, no, I love it. I love it. And so that connects to another aspect that I often discuss with a lot of people is um, a lot of people think you're spirit or you're not. What do you think about that?
Say that one more time.
Your the entrepreneurial spirit is something you're born with or not. It's like a binary kind of about that.
I disagree with that. I think that's like the whole point of my brand. It's like, bro, if you want to go get it, like, if you believe that if you don't have it, then you won't have it, then you probably won't have it. But if you believe that you can get it, if you don't have it, and you keep trying to go get it, eventually you will find it. I just feel like it's not beneficial to even think like that. Like, why would that even be something you'd even consider?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that's a perfect transition to your brand. And so if you can tell us a little bit about the name, the purpose, and what's it do what you guys are doing right now.
Yeah, so 2019, I wanted to start a clothing line. And so me and my wife went to like a restaurant and I was like, man, let's come up with a name while we're, eating. And so we're looking at the thesaurus and the dictionary and stuff. And I came across turd, which means to persevere despite setbacks. And I was like, dang, that's what I had to do. And that's like basically the lifestyle I want to live. Like, you have to be undeterred. Like, if you want to do big things, like, you just can't give up basically. So I started as a clothing line. I was starting to make like not crazy money, decent money, like a couple hundred, maybe thousands of dollars like per month. And people started asking me how I was making money online, how I was like selling clothes, how I was doing all this. And I realized I liked helping other people more than I liked, doing for myself. And so I got into like coaching. And 2020, I was like, man, I want to build like an online coaching business that makes like 10K per month. That way I can travel the world at least once. That was like my goal. And this was like the hardest thing ever, bro. Like, I wasn't making like any progress. Like, I couldn't get people to buy something for me that was $100, $50, $1. Like, it didn't really matter. And so I ended up like someone connected me with this guy, Dan Henry, and I got on a call with this team, and they're like, we can help you, but it's going to be 10 grand. And I was like, I don't have that money. Only money I have right now is like a little over $2,000 maybe, and that's like for the rent that's due in like 2 days. And I just sat there and thought, like, okay, if I don't invest with them, I'm going to go back to the life that I was living. I know how that plays out, right? I got to keep reading these books. I got to keep testing this stuff. It hasn't worked before. Why would it work?
Hmm.
And they asked me an important question, which was like, was there ever a time in your life where you took a risk, you didn't think it was going to work out, but like God had your back and worked out? And I was like, yeah, of course. Like, actually, like when I went to Paris, so it was like, I just got to do the same thing. So I invested the money that was for rent, then put some on PayPal credit, broke the rest up into payments. And again, like, I still wasn't really making any money. And I was like, man, I invested all this money. Like, this is a stupid decision. COVID happened. And I remember my wife was like, yo, we just have to keep going. Like, just don't give up. And shortly after that, of her being like, yo, just keep going, like, things just started taking off. Like, we had like a 5K month and like a 10K month and 15, then 20, then 30. By the end of the year, like, we were making six figures. And so 2020, instead of traveling once every 3 months, we actually sold all of our stuff, moved to Mexico and became digital nomads, and lived in Mexico, Colombia, UK, Albania, Hungary, Portugal, Turkey, like all these different countries. And in that time, I've met a lot of really cool entrepreneurs, and a lot of them give up on their
Hmm.
dreams. And I think it's because they don't know how to be undeterred. And even if you know how to be undeterred, it's hard to do it on your own. It's very lonely. And so, like, man, we need a community where we can all come together. We say, this is the dream that I have, and we support each other. It's a network of entrepreneurs that are coming together, helping each other, being undeterred. And if we all have enough support, we should all be able to support to achieve our dreams. And I was like, I want this to be something that's free, at least part of it free, because you shouldn't have to have money in your bank account in order to have support from someone in the world as an entrepreneur. Like, people are doing really amazing things, but they're giving up because their mom is like, yo, you didn't make money this week. Like, well, what's going on? Like, go get a job. Or like, hey, or their wife doesn't understand or whatever. And I was like, it's because I had those right people around me, partially either telling me to keep pushing, keep going, or I had that experience in Paris that I knew, like, bro, if I just keep pushing, like, I can do this. And so now, like, the Undeterred brand is like, how do we get other entrepreneurs around the world to have that same experience where they can come on a podcast and they can share their own Paris story and be like, man, I remember when I wanted to do this so bad. It seemed like it was impossible, but I was undeterred. I didn't give up. And this is why I'm at where I'm at now.
Yeah, I love this. I hear this. I hear this a lot as well. And reaction to that is like it's like they're saying, "Oh, the gym once I'm in shape," right? And
Yeah.
so you missing the entire point. Like you need to do it now and then sort of build yourself up. What is the what are the so you mentioned a couple of challenges that you faced. What would you say what are the really like the top challenges that people face uh in their journey, especially when they're alone?
When they're alone, the top challenge I feel like is, I would say, is like two things, kind of like fear.
Hmm.
I think the first one is like, people are always like, well, oh, but this is going to happen, right? So let's say in my situation, man, I really want to grow this business. There's a guy that told me he can do it, but it's 10K. How many people are actually going to do that? Or are you going to go, yeah, but what if it doesn't work out? I don't have the money. Like, they're going to come up with so many freaking excuses. And then you talk to them 10 years later and they have a life that they don't like. And I think that you have to be more afraid of not living the only life that you're ever going to get than you are of like trying and failing, because there's really no failing. It's like, bro, you did, like, we're all going to die. No one's going to make it out of here alive. So, like, you might as well experience something while you're here. So I think a lot of people just have so much fear, like, just from society telling us to be so cautious, that you end up safely living a life that you don't like. And it's like, bro, that's worse. The other thing I think is doubt. People are always doubting themselves. So even when they go for it, they're like, oh, but I'm not making money now. Oh, I'm doing this podcast. People aren't watching. There's not enough people. Maybe I should quit. Maybe I should give up. They always had this contemplation. And then I think the other thing, forget, there's someone that you just pinned. Was it Sarah? Is that her name?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Here.
Sarah, yeah. I think it's like, not, there's one thing to have the right people around you. These are people that are going to motivate you. There's another thing to have people that are neutral. They're not going to tell you anything about, like, oh, Riley, hey, you should. They're just like, bro, you're doing your podcast. Let's link up. Let's connect. But they're not saying anything. I think people have the wrong people around them. So these are people that are telling you, like, bro, like, why are you doing your podcast? How's that little business you're doing? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Like, they're always like putting these negative seeds in your head.
Pessimists.
Pessimists, yeah. And I think that's most people, because they gave up. And so, like, they can't see how you could achieve something they couldn't. And I think a lot of people are just subconsciously and intentionally jealous. Like, they don't want you to do better, knowing that they're living a life that they don't like. But I think it's like
I
fear, doubt, and a combination of like not having the right people around you.
I love that. And so to get a bit personal on this aspect of the story, and I just saw a question, I'll share it right after. Don't worry. How did you react to those pessimists around you, and how are you able to sort of extract yourself out of
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things that I've done. I think one thing is, like, you, to speak on that specifically, you have to cut people off, and you can't care who it is. Like, there's been times where I told my mom, like, bro, I'm not going to talk to you, and if I don't ever talk to you again, like, it is what it is. And a lot of people don't have that mindset, but to me, it's like, if you're just going to be negative all the time, Like, bro, that's like, I'm not gonna like, oh, but it's family, bro. I don't care. I really don't. It's like, if you're just gonna be negative, I would rather talk to Riley, Sarah, John, whoever it is that's actually pouring positivity in my life. You know what I mean? And then for people that disagree with that, I'm like, read the Bible. Was Jesus hanging around his brothers all the time? Or was he around people that understood what he was trying to do? You know what I mean? If he was just around them, they were always doubting him. It would have been so hard for him to do anything. So I think it's not that you can't love. I think people think that means you don't love people. It's like you have to limit the access they have to you, which means maybe you're not calling that person as much or hanging out with that person as much. The thing that I loved about COVID is like the world did that for me. So when I was trying to build, you couldn't go to people's houses. You couldn't go to that birthday thing. You couldn't go outside. So I was just stuck inside. So I think the first thing, one of the things I think is like you have to be cautious of like how much access you're giving negative people to you. If they're being intentionally negative, right? I'm not saying cut off people that don't support you because they don't have to support you. But if they're being negative, it's like you have to do something about that. The other thing is like how you talk to yourself. I think a lot of people don't. They're not talking to themselves properly. Like you can't be like, yo, this podcast is not working. This is failing. I'm never gonna do this. You got to be like, yo, bro, today's gonna be a great day. I got this. I got this episode. This is gonna be a banger. Like we're gonna make progress. Like you have to keep hyping yourself up. You almost have to be like delusional. Um, so yeah, those are two. I could talk about that all day, but I think those are like two major things. It's like talking. How do you talk to yourself? Cutting off negative people, but then being intentional about getting people around you that are going to like lift you up. Like for example, if you came to me and you're like, bro, like this podcast, there's only 5 people on there. I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, I'm like, yeah, bro, you should quit. Like, I'll be like, nah, bro, like, it is
How
what
do
it
you
is,
know?
bro.
How
Let's
do you
get,
know?
yeah. So I think you gotta have those people. You gotta really have those, and it doesn't have to be a lot, even if it's only one. But
No, 100%, 100% agree.
shout out to
Um,
Sarah for dropping the gems too.
Absolutely. Actually, we have the first official live question from Sarah, so
Cool.
I'm going to share it to you. Able to answer it. So the question is, at starting, people do a lot of overthinking. Was my message okay? Should I do this or that? And especially, what to do now? Can I do it tomorrow? Also, etc. So this idea of perfectionism and how to keep up with that.
Okay. So this is my viewpoint. People that say that they're perfectionists, they're not really perfectionists. What is a perfectionist? A perfectionist is someone that does things perfectly, right? So is overthinking perfect? It's not. So that means you're not a perfectionist. Because if you were a perfectionist, you wouldn't be overthinking. You'd be doing what the perfect thing is. So what how do you just turn that from like a cute quote to like a practical thing? Dig deeper. So it's not that I didn't start my podcast because I'm a perfectionist and I want everything to be perfect. It's I didn't start it because I'm worried about what my mom might think of me if she sees my podcast, and I'm worried about that opinion of whatever that is. And so what I tend to do and what's worked for me is a couple of things. If you're afraid to do something, you got to like dig deep into that. So what is it that you're trying to do? What are you afraid of doing? What's the worst case scenario if that were to happen? What would you do if the worst case scenario were to happen? So now you're like planning. You're like, oh, this is the worst thing that could happen. And if it happened, then I would do this. Okay, so you're good. What are you worried about? And then now, like, what are you actually going to do? So now you need to have a plan of action. So when it comes to plan of action, and can you the thing of that Sarah said real quick?
Yes, sure. There it is.
So people are like, should I do this or should I do that? I think the simplest thing I do is I make a pro and cons list. I could move to Hungary. I can move to Brazil. The pros of Hungary are this. The cons of Hungary are this. The pros of Brazil are this. The cons of Brazil are this. Okay, which one has more pros than cons that I want to go with? Okay, cool. I went with it. Now, what can I do to get there? Like, what is the action steps that I need to take? Right? Okay, I need to maybe I got to get an Airbnb. I got to get a flight. I got to like list all the things that you got to do. Okay, what can I do now? What's out of those things? What can I do now? Maybe I don't have any money. People are like, there's something I can't do now. Okay, maybe you can follow a YouTube channel about living in Hungary if that's where you wanted to go to. So now you can start learning, right? And if you know what you need to do, but you're afraid to do, that's where you got to go back to like what I said before. Okay, what am I afraid to do? What's the worst case scenario? Blah blah. Like, and you just keep going until you knock down all like the dominoes. And I think it's hard in the beginning, but it's like a muscle that you build. Like you're just like, I have to do it, and I'm afraid, but that's okay. It's like jumping out of an airplane, bro. Like if you go up there, they're not waiting until you feel comfortable. Like they're pushing you out, and you get comfortable along the way, or you just end up being uncomfortable the whole time, but you ended up doing it. That's pretty much how it has to be if you really want to achieve the dreams that you have. It's you can't always wait to be comfortable.
I love this. I love this.
That's pretty much how it has to be if you really want to achieve the dreams that you have. It's you can't.
Sorry.
It's
I
like
love
super
this.
lag.
Yeah, I don't know. So for some reason, I opened the live on a second screen, and I heard your
Oh,
voice
okay,
back. I was
okay.
like, so I thought you were. I didn't talk. My bad. Yeah. So I want to make a little pause just to say, people who are watching you exist in the comments. You just saw we took a question from the audience. So if you want to ask questions to Mr. D, don't hesitate. We want to have this conversation all together. And back, let's get back to the topic. So yeah, I love what you said
Oh,
about.
what I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Obviously,
Go
this
ahead.
is your show, but this is your show. But for me,
No, you're the
what would
guest.
be
You're the guest.
helpful?
Yeah.
What would be helpful? I think sometimes people are like Sarah. She gave us a really good question, and I think it's kind of like a. I don't know if hypothetical is the right word, but it's like sometimes people are dealing with this. If you guys are willing to be vulnerable and just say like, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting my own podcast, but I'm worried about this. How do I do that?" I feel like that will allow us to give a better answer that you can go implement rather than like a general people in general. Like obviously we'll answer that, but I think if you're willing to be vulnerable and say this is my situation, like you can get. I feel like you'll be able to get the action plan that you can actually implement after you listen to this.
Yeah, that's a very very good suggestion. And so, guys, make your personal, make your question as personal as possible, tied to your situation, so you can get the best feedback out of that.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, um, I want to sort of fast forward into your origin story. What was that trigger that got you to, okay, I want to try this, I want to go all in, and then that undeterred community.
What was the thing that got me wanting to go all in on the undeterred community?
Yeah.
So I was helping basically in 2020. I was working with pastors in churches. I was helping them use social media to grow their church. Right, I grew that to six figures. From there, I just kind of got tired of that niche because I was like, I'm traveling. I'm never really around them, and a lot of them are a lot older. They're like 60 plus. It's not like I feel like I'm just selling. I'm not really making a connection. So we're like, let's help entrepreneurs with the same thing, helping them use social media. Then we learned like it was video content. Then we learned that it was YouTube. Then we like so that's what I was helping entrepreneurs basically YouTube and video content to grow their business. Somebody invited me to speak like on a live summit that they were doing, and as I was talking, they were like, I feel like the things you talk about are deeper than just YouTube. It's a whole mindset. It's a whole like lifestyle. And I feel like God is calling you to do more. Like they went on this little like, rant kind of, and like, I'm sorry for kind of cutting you off, but I just felt like God was telling me to tell you that. So I went on a walk. I was in Hungary and I was looking around and I was like, man, there's so many people out here that if I could just like put my brain in their brain, I know that they wouldn't just be living this life that they want, right? Like the undeterred like lifestyle. And so I just felt like God was calling me to create something bigger. And then I was put in the shoes of my target audience, where now I'm like, yeah, but what, I'm already making money with this. If I stop doing this, what if this other thing doesn't work? What if people don't like this? What if people don't buy this? Like I had all those thoughts, and I'm like, I have to be the example of like what it means to be undeterred. Like I got to start this. I got to do this. The only way to really do this, I think, is to go all in. Like I don't know how to do stuff like half this, half that. So I was like, that was the end of 2023. I was like, I just got to go all in. I don't know exactly what this looks like. At first, it was like a coaching program. Then it turned into so many different things. And then a couple of months ago, maybe like 3 months ago, I was talking to someone, and they were talking to me about how um, all of their clients came from like one or two basically like one event a year. They just go to one event per year. They get clients. I was like, dang, that's the power of having like one traffic source. So I was like, what is that for me? And I was like, well, there's a lot of people in school. Maybe I should just go where people already are instead of trying to build something somewhere else, have them come to me. And then as I was on school, I was asking people like, would you rather me be the expert or would you rather have a community of people helping each other? And that's when I realized like the thing is it's not about me. Hey, I went to Paris, I built a six-figure business. I have to keep telling people that again and again and again. And it's like, come get my help. I think instead it's like, hey, this is a community of people that have dreams and let's all come together and help each other. I'm one of them, but there's other people in there too. There's Riley, there's Lisa, there's Rosita, there's all these other cool people that can help you out. And if we all come together with different knowledges, different backgrounds, different countries, like we can all help each other achieve our dreams. And even if I die and even if I'm not able to come in there, like that can live on. And it's more of like a lifestyle. It's more like a an identity that people take on. And I think even if you shut down your business, but you remain undeterred, that mindset can pour into anything. That can help you get the spouse you want, live in the city that you want to, whatever it is that you want to achieve in life. That's kind of like the mindset. And so now I'm just like going all in like with that of like, man, let's go out and serve and help as many people because this changed my life. And these are things that I wish people would have been there to help me with and to push me towards like, this is what you want to achieve. Let's do it rather than, bro, it's hard to give up. And so that's why, yeah, it's like we want to keep the community free. We have like a mastermind that we charge. Actually, we don't even have a price for that. It's just like pay whatever you want. But it really is just like let's serve, let's help as many people as possible. Like I want to have a community where people are just celebrating their wins and just like yo, like I remember when I wanted to do bigger things in life, but I was always afraid or I was like gave up. And now they can come on here and say, bro, I went to Paris, I proposed in front of the Eiffel Tower, I built that six-figure business, I did this, whatever it is that they really wanted to do. They had the support to get there.
Yeah, I love this. I just want to inject a thing real quick because a lot of people don't know what school is. I mean, the school you're
Yeah.
talking
Okay.
about. So if you can just like give us like the elevator pitch of what is it?
School is basically like a social media platform, but for communities. So it's not like you have a feed that everyone gets and you're just posting. It's communities. So you have people that are like interested in chess. They have it's like the simplest way to understand is like Facebook groups. It's like a platform where it's only like Facebook groups. So it's all online communities. You have entrepreneurship, pickleball, chess, piano, like anything you can think of. It's different communities inside of there. Some are free, some are monthly recurring. Some are people are selling courses, but it's basically like a platform for online communities.
There we go. So I shared a little bit the screen. So here's
Oh, there we go.
the community that you build, the undeterred entrepreneurs. And so school is essentially this platform where you can join communities on very particular activities, and there could be very various activities. There are communities to learn to play piano. There are communities to learn how to be a plumber or fix stuff in your house, and this is your community, right? So it has
Yes, sir.
nearly 200 members. I'm not gonna play the video because I think people should watch it. But essentially, what you want to do is go to school SKOOL and have a look at this. Can you allow me to show one thread that you have in the community that I
Let's go.
personally
Do
love?
it. Yeah, yeah, go
Okay.
for it.
Okay, so there's love, and it's connected to what you said earlier with the support. There's this thing. I'm gonna zoom in. There's this thing I really love that you're doing every single week, and it's always the same question: what do you need help with this week? And so every week you post this thread, you asking this question, and I'm not gonna go inside the thing because I think what's inside should remain private. But what happens inside those threads is that people come out and say, hey, this week I want to do paid ads, but I don't know where to start. I don't know how to do that. What do you think? Or they would say, oh, this week I want to create a video, but I don't know. Or I want to do something. What do you think? And you can see there are like 80 replies. And so everyone sort of avenges around the questions that people have, and we try to help with tactical, actionable advice so then they can sort of overcome that challenge. And this in itself, and mind you, this is not a product placement, is I'll say it again. This is not a product placement. I'm not being paid to say that. This is in itself crazy value for whoever feels alone and struggling, and progressing in whatever their objectives are. If you want to add anything to that.
Thanks for showing that, bro.
My pleasure. So yes, I love this. So a community, people gather around, not necessarily for pure business, but essentially um, reaching, achieving your goals and objectives. And this connects to removing the solo from solopreneur. So if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it's just, bro, like it's so hard doing everything on your own. It's just like, why? You know what I mean? And like, I'm realizing now, like, community is so much better. Like, and even like inside of my community, even though I built it, it's like, bro, I don't know everything. Like, I'm definitely not the expert. Like, I'm asking questions, I'm asking for feedback, I'm asking for advice. Like, how can I do this better? How can I do that better? I just think like more of us need to do that. I think if you don't already have that, like make that on your own. But that can be hard to do, right? Like you gotta get a WhatsApp group, you gotta schedule Zoom calls, blah blah. So that's why, like for entrepreneurs, I wanted to like, bro, I'll organize that for you. Like I will take on that burden of like putting all these people together. But I think like when you can get feedback from other people, when you can get ideas from other people, and I think a lot of the times too, people they think it's all about like tips and advice. Like you showed the support, right? That's very good tactical advice. But sometimes it's like, bro, I'm depressed like this week. Like I just don't feel good like mentally. Like you need people to just talk to and just be there for you. Maybe they're not making more money than you, but it's just like a good, genuine person that actually cares about your well-being. I think that is what goes a long way. You have people that are praying for you, people that are celebrating for you, people that might send you a birthday card. You know what I mean? You don't just like feel like, man, I have this business I want to create. I'm trying to do this, and like you're the only one in the world that understands what you're trying to do. Your friends, family don't get you, and you're just like, I'm going to work as hard as I can one day be successful. Like it's so hard to do it like that, and it's just like, why not have other people around you to support you in that?
Yeah, 100%. And there's also something that we often forget, which is a glimpse of reality. So what I mean by that was conversation with a young entrepreneur, and he was feeling low and telling me that he doesn't get it. Everyone is making 10K businesses around him, but he's far from that. And then so I asked him, I said, when you say around you, what do you mean? And he says, well, everyone on YouTube, etc., everyone is like, oh, you can spin up like a 10K a month business just like that. And everyone is like posting, I made 20K, and I'm the one left behind. I don't know what's happening. Like, am I really bad at this? And so I looked at him and I said, okay, let me show you a couple of receipts. And then I showed him 50 people who are not making 10K a month that I know. And then he was like, oh wow, okay. So the world is not making the world is not making 10K a month.
No,
And I said, no, that's the bubble you got into, and that's the problem. So you got into the wrong bubble, and then you're competing with things that often or sometimes unrealistic. And so that's also the really good aspect of having a sane system that gives you a real picture of life and society and business, so that you can say, okay, i'm actually I'm actually well positioned, and I'm not the only one who having these struggles, or at least not that speed. And then it makes you feel better, right?
100%.
Yeah. And how how do you push this in your community,
In terms of like what specifically?
in terms of making sure, like you said, people are vulnerable and they are having a real view around there, and not sort of being cast in that illusion of success that for a lot of
Yeah.
people don't exist?
I think like I think with a lot of things, like the culture comes from the people that created it, right? So like I'm not like, bro, I would say on here, like I'm not like we're not doing 10K per month. You know what I mean? It's not even really at like 1,000 like per month yet because it's new. But I think a lot of people like they're like, oh, people aren't gonna buy from me if I don't put on this like persona of like I'm just doing great all the time, I'm successful. So I think for me, I try to be vulnerable, which I think opens other people up to being vulnerable. But then it's like when people are vulnerable, how do you react to that? There's been groups that I'm in where it's like, bro, you feel like an idiot if you're like, don't share those Stripe screenshots where you're killing it. You know, people talk down on you if you ask a question. So I think it's just like setting the tone that like, yes, you're going to get feedback and you're going to get criticism, but the criticism is to help you get to where you're trying to go. If you're telling me that you want to go to the beach and be able to take your shirt off and have a six pack, but you're on the couch eating Cheetos, and we're saying like, why are you eating that? Don't be getting emotional and offended by that because it's a genuine question of like, hey, this is what you said you wanted to do, but the actions don't align. Or hey, have you ever considered maybe eating this type of food? Don't get emotional. Like people let the emotions get in the way. Is what people are saying valuable? Can you get benefit from it? And so I think it's like my goal is to create a community where it's like people are able to be vulnerable, but also people are able to share feedback and criticism in a way that's loving. But also sometimes you're just saying what needs to be said. And I think that just comes over time of people seeing it in the comments, people seeing it on the calls, people hearing me talk like this, like on a podcast. And then when they come in, they're like, okay, this is the vibe, this is how I do. But yeah, that's like the tone. Being open about like what's working for them. Like being able to say, hey, I know you guys see me killing it, but hey, this is maybe the expenses that I have. So maybe I am making 10K, but I have 9K in expenses, you know, or hey, last month wasn't a good month. We've had people on calls be like, I know I'm helping you guys make 10K per month, but last month sucked for me. I think that goes a long way for people to just set realistic expectations. And it's like there's no need for any of us to like fake it. Like just be honest and let's all grow together.
I agree. I can only agree to that. Um, so we are approaching the end of this session. Again, this is a live podcast, so you still have a little bit of time to ask questions. This is not a recorded video. So we're gonna dive into the last portion of this conversation, and I would like to do two things. And you started the first one, which is I would like you to give us some tactical advice to help people get started. So I'll give you one or two scenarios so you can help us out with this, and then I want to share how we can reach out to you, how we can collaborate with you, how we can talk with you, etc. Okay, cool. And in
Okay.
the meantime, if you have a couple of questions, you watching this, it's now or never. So tactical question. Let's say my dream is to go and spend a month in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
How would you advise me get my thing together and plan the stuff and go there?
Oh, okay. So there, for me, there's always like five things that I always do. Five keys that I basically call it. So the first one is you need to have like a specific dream. So you did a really good job of saying I want to go to Japan. A lot of people are like, man, I want to travel the world one day, bro. What does that mean? You know what I mean? What does travel the world mean, and what is one day? So the way that I like to have it is like my dream is to, and it needs to be something measurable, something quantifiable. So go to Japan. Great. All right. Now when? Because are you going when you're 80? Are you going when you're 100? Or are you trying to go in the next like 2, 3 months? Because that's going to dictate what we're doing. And a lot of people are scared to do this because it makes it real. Like, I don't want to put a date on it because, yeah, because now you got to actually act on it. So I like to do things if I'm really going to commit to it within like a year or so, not like 20 years out, because then it's like, what are we doing today? So let's say if you're like, hey, by October 2025, I want to go to Japan. Then what I like to have people do is like, why? Why is it important for you? Because this is, if it's easy to do, then you don't even, why are we even talking? Just go buy the ticket. So I would imagine the fact that we're even speaking, if I'm speaking to someone, is like, this is something that seems hard to you or some challenge. why do you want to do it? Because it's probably going to get hard. And if you don't have a strong enough why, you're just going to say, you know what? I don't really want to go. I don't really need to go to Japan anyways. I'll just go to, some nice steak dinner. Or I'll watch an anime movie instead. So why do you want to do it? Like, and this is like the light at the end of the tunnel, right? When you're, let's say, like, if you just get in a taxi and you're like, hey, take me somewhere nice, but you don't know where that nice place is or why you want to go there. If you get in traffic for 45 minutes, you'd be like, bro, just go take me home. But if you're like, I have to go to this place for this specific reason, you're like, okay, this sucks, but I'm going to stick it out because I get there. So you got to know, have something that's quantifiable, have a date, and then also have like a why. That's like the basic, right? There's other things you can do. Like I could talk all day on like how to make it specific, but like you want to have something specific. Next thing, the second key is like focusing on what you can control. So a lot of people go, but yeah, like how am I gonna go to Japan? Like it costs this much money, and I don't even have like a job right now, or I don't like whatever. I don't speak Japanese, whatever it is. Like, okay, what can you control? Can you buy a passport? Can you find places to live? Can you get on Groupon? Like, what are the things that you can actually control? Not the stuff that is all the challenges, the setbacks, the obstacles. Like, don't list excuses. Come up with a list of what actually needs to get done in order for you to, in this example, go to Japan. The third thing is take immediate action. So what can you do now? Not later, not someday, not wishful thinking. What can you do now? Can you buy the passport now? Can you buy the plane ticket now? Can you buy the accommodation? Can you, or do you need to speak Japanese when you get there? Can you buy like a language course? Can you download a free podcast? Like, what can you do now? There's always something. And if people are like, yeah, but I don't have money, go to Google, type in Japan, find a picture that you like, change the background of your phone. Free. You did something. This is going to motivate you even more. Join a Facebook group of digital nomads in Japan. There's always something you can do. The fourth thing is now you got to have extreme faith, right? So you know what your dream is. You're focusing on what you can control. You're taking action. Who knows if this is going to work out? Maybe you're like, man, the way that I'm going to get there is I'm going to get X amount of clients. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to have a podcast. It might be a month and no one has bought anything. You have to have faith that, bro, this is gonna, like, somehow, some way, God is gonna provide for me, right? So you gotta have faith that everything's gonna work out. And the fifth thing is I have to stay committed. So yes, it's gonna be hard. It might take longer than what you thought. You might feel like giving up. You might feel like, bro, like, why did I say that I was gonna go to Japan in October? Like, this it sucks. You have to stay committed. You got to cut those people off that are negative. You got to, whatever it is that you have to do to get there, you have to just stick with it. And for me, whenever I've done those five things, either I have actually achieved the dream, or the person that I've become by that date in which that I wanted to go, I've grown so much. Versus like most people that I know, year after year after year after year after year, they're the same person, and eventually they just die, right? But they're like the same person they were when they were 20, when they're 80. And so, like, have a specific dream, focus on what you can control, take immediate action, have extreme faith, stay committed. You do those five things, like, you're going to be surprised what you can achieve in your life.
I love it. That was a masterclass in 3 minutes. We'll definitely clip this and share it again. So does this 5 step approach works with business? Let's say I want to create, I want to sell T-shirts.
Yeah, it works for anything. I think, like, all right, so what's your specific dream? I want to sell t-shirts is not specific. Like, if someone tells me that, I'm like, what does that mean? Like, you need to think of it as a race. Imagine you're in a marathon and like, hey, let's run. Bro, how I think you would be so exhausted. You got to know like where the finish line is. Like, how many miles are we running? Where is the, like, that's why they give the first person that tape, like, they break it. They know when they're done. You need to know when you're done. So a better example is like, I want to sell 100 t-shirts by September. And the reason why is if I sell these 100 tickets, that's going to, or these 100 t-shirts, that's going to give me the money that I need to go to Japan. Right? Like, it has to be that specific. And then, like, then you just do the next thing. Okay, what can you do to sell these t-shirts? What can you actually do? Okay, actually do these things. Do some of those, whatever you can do now to sell those t-shirts, do them. All right, now that you're trying to sell them, like, it might be hard. Have extreme faith that eventually God is going to provide like these 100 shirts to be sold. And then hey, I know you said you want to do this by September. It's July. It seems like it sucks, but bro, you just got to stick with it until September. And then once that date hits and you haven't achieved it, then you decide if you keep doing it or you pivot.
Framing your goals in a smart way. You know, SMART, the acronym, um, and that in itself will sort of have you. Often people don't put quantifiable metrics, like you said. I want to travel or I want to make money, but they don't put the number.
Yeah.
So if you don't put the number, you achieved it, overachieved it, or underachieved it, and that is like the first thing you need to focus on. I love this. I love this. Last section. Sorry. Uh, where can we find you? How we can collaborate with you? And I'll finish with the last question. So I'm gonna give you the question now, so you can process it in the back of your head. Life is too short to something. Okay.
Say it one more time.
Life is too short to something. So have it. Take time to sort of process it. But at the last question would be this. But now I want to know how we can find you, where can we reach out to you, how can we collaborate, etc., etc.
So the question is like, life is too short to blank because it cuts
Yeah,
out every time that.
yeah,
Okay, all right.
yeah.
Perfect. So basically, I'm only focused on this community right now. Like, I'm not on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or anything right now. I'm just going all in. So the easiest way to get to it is just go to undeterredco.com. UNDETERRED.com. So undeterredco.com, and it should take you to the school page that you showed earlier. I think for me, it's pretty simple. It's like life is too short to not chase your dreams.
Okay, that's a very good one. That's a very good one. D, was a pleasure to have you here with me today. Love your story. Love what you're building. Obviously, not a product placement. And if you ever want to be on my next session, let me know. Send me a DM. If you want to join the undeterred entrepreneurs community, reach out to D or just send me a DM. I'll give you the link again. And in the meantime, see you in the next episode. But remember, life is too short to chase your dreams. See you next time.